What's going on, guys? I just had some trail mix and it's like 6 p.m. when I'm recording this, and I'm worried that I like ruined my appetite for dinner. I didn't eat that much, but it seems to have had a disproportionate amount in how hungry I am. Because I was very hungry. Now I'm no longer as hungry. So anyway, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the team that won the Oceania International Championship. The OCIC, basically the international that happens in the Oceania region. It was won by Marco Fiero, and he has shared he's an Italian player, and he shared the team that he used to win here. You can check out the code. I didn't have anything to do with any part of making this team. I'm just reviewing it, just to be clear. Like, I did a review on Aaron Traylor's team that won Dallas, and that's because I helped build that team. I was part of the group that built that team. This is different. I'm just talking about what I see. I haven't really looked at it too much, so because I figured it could be interesting to go through with you guys all at once and talk about what I noticed on the team, and yeah, that way like we could kind of have my fresh thoughts going into it. So, but yeah, just to be clear, congratulations to Marco. I didn't have any part in any of his success. Just to be clear there. So basically, the team is as follows: it's Duraludon, Whimsicott, Sylveon, Dracovish, Rotom Heat, and Conkeldurr. And there's a couple of really interesting things in this team that I'm going to talk about. So first of all, we noticed something interesting to me, is that half of these Pokemon were on the Dallas regional winning team. Those being Conkeldurr, Whimsicott, and Duraludon. The interesting thing here is how the items are distributed. So instead of a Life Orb, Duraludon actually has the Assault Vest. Instead of the Assault Vest on Conkeldurr, it now runs the Flame Orb. And instead of Charm on Whimsicott, well, Whimsicott is mostly the same, but it has dropped Protect. It has dropped Charm in favor of Protect. Why is my head cut off? I just fixed this. Hang on, I can fix this. Oh, well, now I'm zoomed in. Whatever. I Gigantamaxed, I'm sorry. Anyway. So, those three Pokemon are the same Pokemon, even though the sets aren't the same as the team that won Dallas, which was Aaron Traylor's squad. Yeah. So, with that being said, oh, sorry. Still a little bigger. So with that being said, that's the first thing that I noticed. The other interesting thing is that instead of Charizard, the typing is still preserved. You still have Rotom Heat here. A lot of Rotom currently are running Nasty Plot. There's also been some Ally Switch that I saw watching Oceania. However, this set has coverage moves and Protect. One thing I want to note about this team is that of the 6 members, 4 have Protect, which is very different than Aaron Traylor's team, which had 2 Protect Pokemon, which were Duraludon and Charizard. The other 4 Pokemon, Conkeldurr, Jellicent, Whimsicott, and I should know my own team, shouldn't I? Conkeldurr, Jellicent, Whimsicott. Wait, what am I forgetting? It's these 4. Duraludon, Charizard had Protect, Conkeldurr, Whimsicott, Jellicent, and Whimsicott didn't have it, Jellicent didn't have it, Conkeldurr didn't have it, and oh my god, I'm so sorry. I can't do this. You guys know what I'm saying. Wait, this is actually really bothering me. What was my team? Jellicent, Conkeldurr, Whimsicott, Charizard, Duraludon, Togekiss. Togekiss didn't have it either. Oh, another thing to note. So Togekiss was very popular at this tournament. I might do a whole... Would you guys be interested in me breaking down the top like teams and trends? By the way, let me know in the comments down below, because I might do that, I might not, because this is just about the winning team. Anyway, with that being said, so there's 4 Protects on this team. Hyper Voice, Yawn, Quick Attack, Protect on Sylveon. Conkeldurr runs the Flame Orb. You normally want Protect on Flame Orb Conkeldurr. Whimsicott has Protect, has dropped Charm. And like I said, Rotom has Protect as well. So the weird mons that have Protect here... Not weird, but the less common Protects here are Whimsicott and Rotom. Whimsicott most likely running Protect because there feels like there's been an increase in Fake Out, so that's interesting there. Rotom running Protect is interesting. We'll take a look at his EV spreads next in a second, but I am a little interested in Rotom running EV Protect because it doesn't seem like it needs it most of the time. Yeah, I think Assault Vest Duraludon is really an interesting Pokemon. I always struggle to make it work because you have to sacrifice speed, and you can have speed and power, or you can have bulk basically, and it's hard to get both out of the spread because you need a lot of your EVs to do stuff. So I'm interested to see how he's trained his Duraludon. I think Sylveon's a really interesting Pokemon here. Pixie Plate in particular is very interesting. Pixie Plate obviously powering up the offensive moves from Sylveon, being Hyper Voice and Quick Attack. The other interesting thing here is there's no weakness policy on the team, and of course the elephant in the room, or the Dracovish in the room, which is Dracovish with a Choice Scarf. So obviously I've been a big proponent of Dracovish. I think it's an extremely strong Pokemon, and I'm really happy to see it do so well, winning the highest level tournament that we've had so far this season in VGC. So I'm actually interested that he didn't run Psychic Fangs. He runs Vicious Rend, Rock Slide, Crunch, and Dragon Rush. Dragon Rush can be good. There might be a situation where you need to try and hit a Dragapult with a Dragon move. I agree with that. Crunch also, though, for Dragapult is nice. Dragon Rush is a stab move, and it can give you outs with, like, flinching, as can Rock Slide, which is, I think, why he had this. I know there was a pretty, I wouldn't say controversial, but there was a game I heard, I didn't see it myself, where I think Rock Slide played a big role in determining the outcome, I think against Alberto Lara in top 8, if I'm not much mistaken. So, yeah, Scarf Dracovish is interesting here. The synergy, what's another interesting thing about this team is that he has a lot of the base synergy. Wait, did he draft 4 out of 6 mons on my WBE team? This guy really looked at my WBE team and took 4 of the mons. Wow, that's actually hilarious. I'm sure he doesn't watch my WBE stuff, but that's very funny. The synergy's really good, though. I was thinking about the synergy, and I was going to say, like, the reason, like, I noticed these patterns. So he has Fairy and Whimsicott, Dragon and Duraludon, or Dragon and Dracovish or Duraludon, and then Steel. He also does Fairy and Sylveon as well. Fairy, Dragon, Steel is known to, like, have good synergy. It's just kind of, it was called the Fantasy Core back in Generation 6. I don't know if we still call it that. And he also has, of course, the Fire, Water, Grass Core, which also has good synergy, and Rotom, Heat, Whimsicott, and Dracovish. These were my first 4 picks in the WBE. That was literally my first 4. Duraludon, Dracovish, Rotom, and Whimsicott. So they have really good synergy. I like the ratio of physical to special attackers, especially with Fake Tears. So another thing to note here is that Fake Tears powers up Sylveon, Rotom, and Duraludon. And Dracovish and Conkeldurr are pretty strong on their own, so they also don't necessarily need the power boost, whereas Rotom can appreciate it, AV Duraludon definitely appreciates it, and Sylveon can appreciate it as well. What's interesting about this team, I think, another interesting thing is that he doesn't have any Pokemon that feel like they need to Dynamax, right? Like, if I was at Regionals, with Aaron and I, something that I noticed was that, and Justin as well, Justin Karras, Aaron Trailer and I, something that we noticed as a group was that on our team, Duraludon and Charizard were almost always the Pokemon that wanted to Dynamax. And with Marco, I believe even in finals, one game he Dynamaxed his Conkeldurr and one game he Dynamaxed his Rotom. So I think that was really interesting, is that because Rotom appreciates Dynamax, Conkeldurr appreciates Dynamax, Sylveon and Duraludon appreciate Dynamax, Dracovish doesn't, and Whimsicott definitely doesn't. Those two definitely don't want to Dynamax, but all of them are like, they don't need to Dynamax to be good, in my opinion. So yeah, again, the lack of Togekiss is really interesting. If we take a look at his spreads more in depth, something that we notice is Duraludon is not very fast. That's the first thing I see here. It's max HP, it's got a little bit of special defense, and then a little speed, and then the rest in special attack. So I do want to talk about really quickly the body press on Duraludon. I think it's a very interesting choice, because you don't really need your last move, right? Like, Flash Cannon, Draco Meteor, Thunderbolt are kind of necessary. People were in Dragon Tail to try and stop Trick Room. People were in Dark Pulse or Snarl to try and have some dark coverage. I've seen some Solar Beam. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he had Solar Beam on the set, just because Gastrodon can be, like, it's like the best Dracovish counter, so you may be running a Grass move there just to potentially do that, and especially, like, Rotom can set up the Sun for Duraludon as well, so I wouldn't have been surprised to see Solar Beam, but he runs Body Press most likely because when you Dynamax your Duraludon, you can actually get Steel-type attack bonuses, so Steel-type defense, because of Max Steel Spike raising your defense, it powers up Body Press for the end of your Dynamax, and you can also, sometimes, it makes sense to use Max Knuckle to boost Conkeldurr or Dracovish, both Pokemon that, if they get an attack boost, they can become, like, very, very, very scary, and not really Pokemon you want to deal with, so, I like Body Press twofold for that reason. So that's the first thing I see looking at his spread. Yeah, he runs Adamant Dracovish. That's the next thing I noticed. Here, I think Adamant Scarf Dracovish makes sense. You gain a couple Pokemon by switching from Adamant to Jolly, but in general, I think Adamant gives you way more. So I like it. I've already talked about the moves here. He runs standard offensive Whimsicott. This is a standard spread here. Here's something that's really interesting and something I really wanted to talk about on the Sylveon. You can see it has almost max speed. 244 speed, 100 HP, and 156 special attack. In the final, something that was very crucial was Marco Fierro's Sylveon outspeeding Eduardo's Togekiss. It made things really hard. I actually, watching it, thought it might have been Scarf, truth be told. So that was something that I noticed personally. And the thing that's so interesting about that to me is that Sylveon normally runs max HP, max special attack, and like 4 speed or whatever. And Marco here is used almost all, almost maximum investment in speed. I just think it's an interesting choice. Like, I agree with it. I think it made a lot of sense. Sylveon with max 244 speed is going to hit, like, probably around 101. Is that right? Does it hit 101? Let's just check that. I believe with 244 speed, you hit 111. I'm sorry. Well, that's very weird, because that's going to be 1 point under... Ah, no, it's not. It's not. Okay, no, I can't do math. 222 is the speed stat. I wonder if it was for Tailwind. That's the only thing I could think. Like, maybe it's to outspeed, like... Oh, wait, how fast is... Hang on. What's 145 times 1.1? Because I have a feeling that'll give us the answer. 145 times 1.5. So he's faster than max speed Togekiss after an Airstream boost. So, that's probably a pretty good reason to run that much speed. I think this was a very smart call. Getting damage, like, Sylveon outputs so much damage. And it felt like it was a really good call for this tournament in particular. So, with that in mind, I really like Fast Sylveon here. I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and you don't need max special attack. He's compensating a little bit for the drop in special attack with the Pixie Plate. Outputting his damage output, like, slightly more. It could have been Babbery Berry as well, probably, but I like Pixie Plate here. This is a weird Rotom. It's max HP and max special attack, or max speed, sorry, max HP, max speed with almost no special attack, but very fast. So, I'm not entirely sure, like, what he was doing here. I'm not totally sure what he was doing here, truth be told. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, well, I guess what's interesting to me is normally if you're going to run this spread, you're going to run, like, Nasty Plot, right? To boost your special attack output. And of course he did have fake tiers, but I'm really not sure. I mean, obviously it worked, right? I'm just curious as to why it worked, right? Max Darkness is also good with this team because, like I said, there's a lot of special attackers, and Rotom outspeeds both Sylveon and Duraludon, which allows it to, if it needs to, Max Darkness into something and then use Hyper Voice or an attack from Duraludon to drop, because Max Darkness lowers the special defense, and then your special attackers can do a lot of damage. But yeah, other than that, Conkeldurr looks like relatively standard EV spread, same speed that we ran in Dallas, which is enough speed to outspeed Duraludon and Tailwind. No, sorry, modest Duraludon and Excadrill, add an Excadrill and Tailwind. Yeah, I mean, the spreads make sense to me, except this one's a little weird. I'm not saying it's bad. I think obviously it won the tournament, so I think it was a good call. I'm just curious as to what he was thinking. He mentions in this tweet that we're also planning on writing a team report, so keep an eye out for that. Check out Marco Fierro. Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, it just looks like a really smart team. I really like the Pokemon choices. Sylveon is not... Both Sylveon and Dracovish were two Pokemon that were really underestimated, and to a certain extent, Rotom Heat as well. Like, all three of these Pokemon were not things that I think people were expecting to see a lot of, and I like seeing smart... This felt like a smart call for this specific tournament. So, yeah. So I'm happy that a team like this could do well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the insight I can provide. If you guys want to see me cover the team, like the meta trends in general, let me know. If you want to see me, like, use this team on the ladder, obviously there's an export, or there's a rental code for it, so I can try that as well. So yeah, just let me know how much you want to see from me using a team that I didn't use, but or that I didn't have a hand in building, but obviously did very well for the current format. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.